Now, do you want to move but can't buy until you sell? Let's fix that. So today I'm going to show you how to buy before you sell safely and smartly. Hey everyone, Adam Marshall here with Remax Twin City and the Marshall team. Welcome back to Adam Marshall, where Brantford and Brant County homeowners, buyers, and investors get real answers every week with no fluff. So today we're going to dive into our buyer game plan, how to buy before you sell, plus our live Q&A, and then I'll give a nice shout out to one of my favorite local spots. Many people are looking to buy, and the goal always is what's the plan in this market? And the thing I run into with a lot of people is there's so much noise out there. There's so much noise in the marketplace. People just don't know what to think. Everyone's got an opinion. No one really gives you actual steps and a real plan. So that's what I want to do for you here today to get you on the right path and on the right track. So if you want my buyer game plan that I have prepared, comment plan below or DM me with plan, and I'll go ahead and I'll make sure I send that over to you. That way you've got that. So right now, a lot of buyers I'm feeling and I'm seeing are just feeling really stuck. They either are in the house and they know that they need to make a move and they want to make a move, but they're afraid to make that jump because of, once again, all the noise, all the news. They don't know what to believe. So they're feeling really stuck where they are. They don't have that clarity. And there's that fear of selling before securing the next house. And it's a big jump. It's a big change. And when you're talking about a lot of money, it is, you need to make sure that you do this in the right manner, of course. So when we're dealing with buyers, what's the plan? So the reality is that about 80% of move-up buyers, they can purchase first with the right plan. And you need to go ahead and to move up with that and move forward with that instead of just staying where you are and being stagnant. This is the market right now where you can get a great deal if you are aggressive, if you're prepared for that. And that's what we want to really focus on. So I've got three main points for you for getting prepared here. Okay. Now there's three options that what you can do when you want to buy a house. There's three main options. One, you can go ahead and do some bridge financing through a bank. Now, how the bridge financing roughly works, and with each person it could be a little bit different, but generally speaking is you can purchase a house and secure that, and then you go to the bank and they will guarantee financing on the new house, and they will bridge finance for you so that you can have a guarantee to buy the new house and to get your house in the market and to sell that one. Okay. And they tell you that they will finance both of them now for a time frame. Now, the key part about that is that they want a firm deal on your existing house. They want a firm agreement on your existing house to guarantee the financing on your new house. So that is key. That's one way to do it with a bank. Second way to do it with a bank or with some financing is to use an equity line of credit on your home. You can start that way using a line of credit you already have, or what's called a HELOC. Use that, and then you can just write the check when the time comes if you need to, or write the down payment on the line of credit for the new house. Okay, both can work. Both can be effective. Just depends on how much equity that you have and how much access that you have to those. Or you can do a complete refinance of your existing house to draw out the equity to buy the next house, or they get the down payment and then work on the financing for the principal or the primary mortgage on the new house, which is an option. Or the third, which is a very common method to go ahead and purchase a house, is to make an offer on the new house, and you make that offer conditional upon you selling your existing home. Okay, that is once again a real common method, and I do that all the time with a lot of buyers if they choose to go that route. If they don't want to do the bridge financing, or if they don't want to work on the refinance, they'll make a conditional offer on the house, and then that new house, the seller of that home has to wait until you sell your house. Now, there's a major risk there because in the event another buyer comes by and they want to buy that new house while you have your offer on it, you can get bumped off of that house. And that's what we call it in the real estate world. You can get bumped out of the way in most cases, how the agreement will be structured. So you don't want to get bumped. You don't want to lose your dream house if that's the one that you want and where you want to be. You don't want to lose that. So, but that is a risk of having a conditional offer. Now, you know what? Just last month, one of our clients actually used a bridge loan and their line of credit to go ahead and to purchase a new house to secure that. And it worked out well for them. We're able to get their house sold and boom, get them moved with no issues, no headaches, which is great, and less stress. But there is a risk there. There's a risk in the time. There's you know, a lot of stress on the seller, you as the seller, and of course I always mention, you know, me as the agent, because we have a timeline, a drop dead date where we have to get this sold by, or else, or you lose the house. Okay. Now, if you want this exact plan mapped out for your home, DM me the word plan and I'll send you over my buyer game plan checklist. Okay. There's a lot of details in that, and I want to make sure you have that and make sure that you have that in your hands. Okay. Perfect. Getting some messages come through. So just post your messages and comment. I'd appreciate that, and we'll get that. And any questions you may have for my Q&A session, that'd be great. Please add that below, and I'll certainly try to get to that. Now, let's talk about pre-qualification. Right now, this is an often overlooked part of people searching for a house. A lot of people want to search first, and then they go ahead and go to the bank and get pre-approved. Well, let's not do that. You know, ideally, you want to get pre-qualified by your bank, and not just calling them up on the phone, not just getting them to run your quick numbers. They need to do a full pre-qualification and a full pre-approval. Now, a lot of banks don't do pre-approvals because they want to know what kind of house you're buying, but they will do a high-level pre-qualification, meaning the proper broker or bank will ask you for your financial documents, being here in Canada, being your T4s, your notice of assessment, letters of employment, all that. They will also check your credit to make sure that your beacon score is high enough that they're comfortable with that. A bank or lender will do that properly, and that's what you want. Because if you're going to be going into the real estate market in today's market, and you're going to try to be aggressive and to buy a house, you want to make sure that all your ducks are lined up and in a row. Super important. Once again, often overlooked. People like to shop first before they know that they can actually purchase it, but make sure that's done. Make sure that's done. And especially now, we're in a timeline right now where rates are coming down a little bit on the variable mortgages. Okay, so you can actually capitalize on that and take advantage of that. And for the foreseeable future, we're getting mixed reviews right now of when or how much the rates may come down again, but it's likely they're going to come down again, depending on our economic data here in Canada. So you want to make sure you get the proper pre-qualification and know what you can afford. Don't go ahead and buy too much house. Don't go ahead and get yourself in over your head where you're not comfortable, because it's just not going to be enjoyable. You don't want to move ahead with, you know, your lumps in your throat, and it's not a good process, not a good time. So keep that in mind, okay? Keep that in mind. And quick, you know, let's say a quick rule of thumb. And you talk to different financial people. Everyone has a different idea of how much you should look at spending. But talk to a financial planner, talk to your mortgage broker, talk to your accountant. You know, see what you're comfortable with, see what you're comfortable with paying. Okay. Number one, let's start there. Now we're going to identify target homes and a timeline. Okay. Now this is something that I'll see a lot of buyers that they don't clearly define what they're looking for. They just start looking at houses willy-nilly, and they're looking at condominiums, they're looking at farm or rural properties, and looking at houses in town. That's all good, and that's important because you do want to know what a dollar is going to get you. That's important. But I always suggest, and I recommend to people, we want to narrow down what you're looking for, and that way you can A, be more aggressive, and B, you know what's going to be a good deal. And so for me, when I'm working with buyers, I always remind them that, you know, I can go ahead and take you through a house and say, hey, I think this is what this house is worth. But, you know, you need to really know that and feel that for yourself. You need to understand that part. Okay. That's an important component, so that when you make an offer on a house, you know, and you feel that you're getting a good deal or a fair deal. Okay. Um, uh, you just, until you know what a dollar is going to get you, you may not be prepared to purchase, because you're always going to feel like, I could have got a better deal. And you're going to have some of that buyer's remorse that comes out after purchasing a house. And you see other deals in the market and you think you may have been able to get a better deal on that one. So identify where you want to live. Location is the best. If you narrow that down first, and then you go ahead and talk to your bank and find out what your maximum amount is that you can purchase. And that's going to be the second filter. Okay. Those two filters together, price and location, we got that narrowed down, and that's going to simplify the process for you. And the next one is timeline. You want to figure out when you want to move. Now, a few of the most common timelines for people for moving and for wanting to be in the new house is starting at the new year. They want to go ahead and be in, let's say, by beginning of summer, or by the time school finishes. Very common. You want to be in the new house. You want to sell and move in. By then, you can have the summer to set the house up and get organized or do renovations. That's a very common one. The next one is, for a lot of buyers, you want to be in by the end of summer. So you want to move in sometime in the summer, or maybe even August. Here, how our school plan works up here. You want to be into the house by then. Very common. And then the next one is, for a lot of people, they want to be in before Christmas, or before, snow up here in Ontario. We have snow. So you probably want to be in before the cooler weather or the cold weather for a lot of people. Those are three of your main or most common timelines for people. So you want to know when you're making that move, and to work that out, because from that time, you want to obviously make an offer on the new house, but you want to back the time up, because we need to know how long it's going to take to sell your house, what conditions are going to be in that agreement that are going to slow down the process. And so oftentimes when I run the calendar backwards for people, you're going to need more time than you realize. You're going to need a lot more time than you think to go ahead and to get your house sold, and to go ahead and get moved safely, smoothly, and without any stress or little stress or headaches. Okay. And then the fourth part I mentioned to people is, with me and my guaranteed home plan, my, your home sold guaranteed, or I'll buy it. It's a great plan that I use, and I use that a lot with people. And so what I do with that is, I will go ahead and I'll make you an offer on your house, so that you can actually have a closing date in the future that we're working towards, and that is the closing date. That's when I'm going to buy it. And then what we'll do simultaneously is we're going to put your house on the market. Okay, so we'll put your house on the market. You already have a guaranteed sale, an agreement of purchase and sale from me, and then I'm going to buy it on a certain date. We're going to put it on the market, and if we can find a buyer that's going to pay the same amount or more than me, then guess what? They can buy it. So you could get more money for the house, which is always a great goal. You get more money for the house, and you have an exact closing date for the new house, which is perfect. And because you have a closing date for when your house is going to close, you can also make offers on houses with that same closing date, so that the two dates meet up, and you can be aggressive making those offers. So you can essentially make an offer on that new house without any conditions in your offer. And so I remind people, you can go ahead and do that, make an offer. And in this market, I promise you, you make cash offers, you can save a lot of money. You can save a lot of money doing that. And that's where I want to see you thrive with this. That's where I want to see you really get ahead, because you can save a lot of money by getting a great deal on a house, and getting most of the terms and conditions that you would like to have. Okay, so look at the full picture. Okay, you want to really focus on that full picture and see where you fit in. In terms of, is my house ready? Can I go ahead and make cash offers or aggressive offers? And if not, let's get everything prepared, right? So that's obviously, there's a process here that's important. Okay, now just backing up and just using a quick little recap. Step one, we want to go ahead and make sure that we go ahead and get pre-qualified by your bank, by a lender. If you don't have a relationship with anyone, DM me that also, and I can connect you with someone who's great and I know is going to do an awesome job for you. Get a proper pre-approval at the best rates. Many of the people that I work with, I will guarantee you the best rates in the market. That's a key part. Getting a great mortgage rate, get that pre-qualified. Okay. Then we're going to go ahead and do some market research. We're going to line up your new house Okay, have an idea of where you want to be, how much you can spend, get that plan together, and then obviously we want to prep your current house. Okay, let's get that figured out. Let's get that the staging. In previous Ask the Marshals, I've talked about home staging. We want to get the staging done. Any last minute renovations, any cleanup that needs to happen, depersonalizing, decluttering, all those important things. Okay, so once you prep that, and then once again, you can use my guaranteed sale program where I guarantee your house will be sold, or I'll go ahead and buy it myself. And once again, awesome program. I love it. And you can save a ton of money doing that when you buy. Okay, you can be aggressive, make a cash offer, and that really shines and you can do really well. Okay, and then of course we want to execute these the closing dates ideally together so that you can have a smooth move and no hiccups, no issues, and little to no stress. Okay, once again, DM me plan for your free buyer game plan. I can send that out to you. Make sure you get that, and make sure that we're getting all the proper steps all covered and all prepared. Okay. Now, let's talk here about. Let's see what kind of questions we have. Let me skip over here. There are a couple questions that are popping up here. A couple questions here. So that's good. Okay. All right. So once again, pop your question in below in the comments below so I can answer them. I'd like to get to them and make sure that we have those covered and have those all done. Okay. Now, I've got a couple questions here. Well, one question from someone is how do bridge loans actually work? So bridge loans, when we're having a conversation with a lender or a bank, the bank will pre-approve you or pre-qualify you on your current house and the mortgage that you have. And it's assuming you've already secured an agreement on the house that you're going to purchase. They will pre-qualify you or give you a pre-approval on carrying two mortgages for a time frame. So maybe it's a week or a month or a couple months. Now there are fees and there's interest that is payable on that. And essentially what the bank does is that they will go ahead and front you the down payment money to purchase the new house. So they give you the down payment money. They will charge you a fee. They will charge you interest. And they will give you the mortgage on that new house. Now, the key part is that you're going to need, in most cases, you're going to need a firm agreement on the house that you're currently on. Okay? So you want to make sure you have an agreement there on your existing house for that to really work best. Otherwise, they'll say, yes, in theory, we'll do it, but you got to get your house sold. Okay? So once again, that's where I bring it back. My guaranteed sale program, that's where that works out great because I give you that guaranteed sale. I'm either going to buy it or someone else is going to, and we have that firm and settled. Okay? And then moving forward, you can go ahead and save a ton of money. You have a firm agreement on your house, and you can put that bridge financing in place if you want to somehow move in earlier to the new house before the closing date that I have set for you, etc. Okay, so keep that in mind. Okay. Someone asked here, what if my house doesn't sell in time? So this is a big issue, especially in a market now where a market is moving a little bit slower. Okay. What if your house doesn't sell in time? Well, if you're not using my guaranteed sale program, that's an issue. So if your house doesn't sell and you have a firm agreement out there, you're going to have to figure out how to buy that new house. Now that may be a private loan, finding the financing somewhere, borrowing the down payment, whatever you have to do. You may have to pull from investments. You may have to pull from your business to try to find that money so they can accomplish that closing to go ahead and purchase that. That's if you have a firm agreement. If you don't have a firm agreement and your offer on the new house is only conditional on you selling your house, that's not a problem. But if your house doesn't sell by the time that your conditions come up in your agreement that you have with that house you're buying, then you either have to extend those conditions with the seller, and hopefully they agree to that. And if they don't, then your agreement, it becomes null and void. In most cases, becomes null and void, and then you have to go start over, go search for another house, go try to find one that you're going to like, that's going to work for you. Okay, so with all this, I like to build into my programs. I don't want to see you lose out on your dream home, and that's why my programs work great. Is not only can you save money, but you can get your dream home and move forward stress free. Okay. So if your house doesn't sell on time, you're going to either lose the house that you want to buy, or if you've made a firm agreement, not conditional upon you selling your house, you have to figure out how to buy that house. Okay. So that's going to be stressful. That's going to cause some problems. So we want to really avoid that. Next question that I have here is, do I need both homes appraised? Oftentimes, yes. So on the new house, if you're moving up, in most cases, you're going to need that house appraised by a certified appraiser, and they will have to do a bank appraisal on that. And in most cases, you don't get a copy of the appraisal. You may have to pay for it out of your pocket with some lenders, but you don't get a copy of that. But it will need to be appraised for sure, because the bank wants to guarantee and know that the house you're buying, what the real market value is, and they want to make sure that you're putting down the appropriate down payment as per their agreement with you. So here in Canada, it could be 20% and maybe 10%, depending on the purchase price. The value of the house depends on a few factors, okay? So there's no exact number where that's at. And for the appraisal to get your bridge loan, your existing home, does that need to be appraised? No, the lender will typically just say, hey, what's it worth? But that's where they will only guarantee you that bridge loan if you have an accepted agreement on your current home. So if you have the exact accepted agreement, then they know what that person's buying it for. So there's the valuation already built in. Okay, so the house you're buying will need to be appraised. The house you're in doesn't really need to be appraised, except for in some special circumstances for a bridge loan. Okay, hope that answers your question. Hope that gives you a quick idea. Okay. Christopher here asks, what are some of the rates at the moment? Well, they vary. Last week, interest rates just went down by about a quarter percentage point. So that affected all variable rates, variable rate mortgages, and lines of credit if you're sitting on a line of credit. So we're seeing variable rates, depends on the lender, okay? The last one I looked, variable rate's going to be somewhere anywhere between 3.15 and 3.25 for variable rate. Right now, fixed rates are still in the around 4.1 to 4.4. Once again, depending on the lender, for, let's call it, typically A people or A borrowers. Okay, just to give you a bit of a range. And something I like to mention to people is, guess what? Those are amazing rates. Those are some of the best rates that we've had. That we've had for in ever. Right? Everyone thinks that we're going to go ahead and get 2% rates again, and that's what they're waiting for. Don't wait for that. I mean, historically we have amazing rates, so take advantage of it now while we have it, and lock in. For me, I refinanced a couple of properties about 2 years ago. Guess when I refinanced? Well, I had to refinance when it was 6.5%. A little painful, especially when I know I can get 4.5, but that's where I'm at right now. So unless I want to go through the full refinance process on that, then guess what? I'm sticking it out. I'm going to wait until the end of my 5-year term, and then I'll see where the rates are at that time. Okay. But those are great questions. Those are awesome questions. And these questions here are exactly why we want to build a timeline and financing backup before we make an offer. Okay. We want to have that plan. We want to have that idea of what we're doing way in advance. Okay. We don't want to figure it out on the fly. That's when it's going to be more painful, more stressful. Okay. Thanks for those. Once again, post any more comments that you have. I'd like to get them answered. Okay. Christopher, you're welcome. That's great. Now, what we'd like to do here, and before I wrap up, actually, no, let me do a little market update, Brantford market update, just so I know that we're up to speed with where we're at. As of today, here in the city of Brantford, we have about 409 active residential listings. So just residential listings, 409 active listings. In the past 30 days, floating 30 days from today back, 114 homes have sold or are conditionally sold. So that leaves us with about 3.6 months of supply on the market. So where does that put us? That puts us right in the balanced market. Okay, so when you're looking at the news out there, you're seeing lots of information from the GTA or other parts of Canada or Ontario. Right now, as I calculated, we're sitting at a balanced market. So this is a great market to buy. It's a great market to sell. I'm seeing houses that are priced properly that are selling, and I'm seeing properties that we're busy, right? So things are moving. So 3.6 months of supply on the market, uh, which is great. That's healthy. That's a great balanced market. In Brant County, there's currently 223 active listings, residential listings on the market right now. So there are 223 active residential listings in the county of Brant right now. In the past 30 days, 48 of those have sold. Okay, so that leaves us an absorption rate of about 4.6 months. So we're still, once again, in the county right now, we seem to be sitting in a balanced market. Okay, buyers and sellers are negotiating and having a conversation about what the price and what the value is. Okay, so it's healthy. We're moving along. Things are moving, and it also shows me and tells me that buyers and sellers are coming to an agreement, and both are realistic about what's happening in the market and what they're looking for. Okay, so great. Any other questions? Please, once again, post below. I'd love to get to them. Love to answer them for you. Okay. Now, before we wrap, I want to shine the light on something that's near and dear to my heart. Something that they do amazing work. Coming into the cold weather, it's important to chat about this, and this is the Brantford Blessing Center. Now, some of you have heard me talk about them before. Another quick reminder, they're doing amazing work feeding families and raising funds for their new facility. And every home that we sell here on the Adam Marshall team helps support this great cause. And they're feeding on average about 150 people every single day for dinner. So I urge you to jump in, dive in, have a look at what they're doing, understand what they're doing. They're doing some great work. And I will also attach my my link below, where if you're looking to donate some money for the new building project, I'd love for you to click on that. That'd be much appreciated, and we can bless them with whatever we can. Okay. Now, if you're here, if you're in the market, if you're looking to go ahead and get moved, this is why we're here. Ask me questions. I'd love to help you get an answer. And if you're ready to move up, but you're not sure to buy before you sell, just don't guess. Stop guessing. You need to get the plan. DM me the word plan, or visit my website at adammarshall.ca to grab your free buyer game plan today. Okay. And I want to make sure that you have a plan, you know what to do moving forward, and it's very clear. Okay. And once again, use my guarantee, right? I'm here. I'm willing to do that. And I would like to have a discussion with you of your house sold guaranteed, or I'll go ahead and I'll buy that myself. And I'd love to chat with you about that program. Love to show you how my plan works and how that plan can save you a ton of money when you're looking to buy in this market. Great tool. I love using it. It's working so well all the time. Okay. Any questions, once again, please pop them in there. I'll get to them by next week. We'll add them in. And of course, please like, share, and follow here on Facebook, Instagram, on the YouTubes, and here on TikTok. I'd love to answer your questions. Like, share, comment, and I look forward to going ahead and chatting with you next week. I'm pretty excited. Hope you're having a great week, and I won't see you till next week. So happy Remembrance Day. And I want to remind everyone to make sure that to send a thank you to everyone out there that has given their time, given their energy, and given their life for us and for our freedom here in Canada. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Until next week, Ask the Marshall. Have a great day.